So hey everyone, welcome to Rebecca's Colouring Arts and Art and Crafts. So my next flip through is actually going to be Vilin. So this is also by Tomislav Tomic. As you'll notice, it's quite thin compared to the other book, which I just sat out of the way and then realised I would need to show you a bit of a comparison. So this one here is Zemlja's Nova, which is the original book, and you can kind of see, let me focus it, see the thinness of Vilin sand compared to Zemlja's Nova. So yeah, it's kind of like quite thin, get that focused again. But yeah, it's also, I found it was similar cost to Zemlja's Nova when I got it a while ago. So yeah, it's basically the same format with the opening of the book as Zemlja's Nova. It also does come with a poster, which I can't exactly show you the full image because it's about, well, double this width here, so there's two more on either end, which is folded in. So it just gives you a rough idea of the poster image anyway. And I just want to shift that up there actually. But I still like the images, and I wanted to get a finished copy of Zemlja's Nova that wasn't in the wrong order, and so it was cheaper postage just to get this one with it. I found that it's a very pretty book and I really love the images in it. I just don't typically tend to buy smaller books with less images. But they are very detailed and very pretty. Sorry if I went a little fast through those first couple of images, it's just this book, I just heard a brief pop, so it's not sort of sitting as flat as Zemlja's Nova, I don't think. But maybe that was because it was closer into the middle. I'll try it once we're closer to the middle and see if it'll stay open or not, like Zemlja's Nova did. I'm just trying to fit as many as I can into this camera card time as possible, shall we say, of these flip throughs, I mean. And trying not to make them too long, because some of them have ended up a half-hour review and review and flip through, so it's like, yeah, I'm trying not to do that so much this time. But yeah, there's some very pretty and very detailed images in here. Yeah, no, this one isn't going to stay open like Zemlja's Nova. So, yeah, I'm not sure. You can still kind of flatten it out to get a bit closer to the spine, but I still don't think, I think the images are going into the spine again, so it's not necessarily going to be easy to get all the details into the spine. But we can only do the best we can. That spot there stays open, but it's the centre of one of the spots and right near the end of the book, so yeah. It looks like it's string and glue bound as well, which is actually good because it means it's not so likely to fall apart if you accidentally pop the glue. So that's nice to find out. But as you'll see, our final image here, because it's glued to the back cover, it's kind of bubbling a bit and going to make it a little more difficult to colour without denting into the back, into this image here. So this image here is actually going to be possibly dinted unless you're working very closely with this here and just trying to squeeze it in under the cover, as you'll see how I'm holding it now. That's basically how you're going to have it and be holding the paper down with your hand like I am to be able to not risk damaging the back image too much with the paper bubbling, due to the way I find sometimes with the paper glued to the actual cover image, it tends to not allow you to properly colour in that area, and hence bubbles and dips the underneath where it's bubbling up and where it can't sit flat. So it seems to be some sort of issue with the way the paper is glued to this, and it's kind of it bubbles if you can't get it to sit flattish, and even sometimes trying to get it to sit flattish, it doesn't always sit as flat as you want, and it still affects the way the paper is and the bending of the tooth of the paper, and as a result it means you can't properly colour the back image. So I would possibly recommend colouring this back image before you do this image here, but I haven't started colouring that yet. That's just experience from other colouring books where I've had the same sort of issues with that bubbling near where it sits up near the spine. So yeah, just something to look out for anyway. So I hope you've enjoyed this flip through, and I will see you. Oh, let's just see, does it? Yeah, it kind of does the same thing at the front as well with that bit of bubble, which means it's going to be kind of difficult to prevent it from damaging the back image, which fortunately this spot here, there isn't much along this area, but it's still going to possibly damage the book just from experience I've had in the past with trying to colour those images where it does kind of bubble funny, where the front of the book is glued onto the paper and where it doesn't sit properly flat. You can try and flatten it as much as you can with your hands and stuff, but it still doesn't always work, which was the case with my Anamorphia book that I've swapped. So yeah, but anyway, just something to watch out for and know about. And anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this. These are really beautiful images. I would recommend the book. I was just saying a few things that I've noticed with the way it sits and with possibilities of damaging back images because of the way sometimes things are glued. It's not necessarily something that would stop me from getting the book, but it is something that after having that experience I am more aware of, and I do try harder to prevent it from doing that. Another way of doing a part of a workaround whilst also flattening it is also to put some cardboard or something in behind it, like a thinnish cardboard, thin but not too thin cardboard that's a kind of sits and helps flatten it. It also stops the images from rubbing off onto other images as you're colouring, but it tends to allow a slightly less chance of things bubbling because of the fact that it is that bit of extra support there for that page where you're bubbling it, particularly if you're trying to hold it down where you're colouring it at the same time to try and prevent that. So that's just something else that I would do in that situation as well. And you can't always tell those things till you actually have the book, and I'm finding there are ways to work around that, and it still wouldn't stop me from getting the books because I really like them. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please leave a like, subscribe and comment, and I think I've already said that, but anyway, and I will see you next time. Bye!